All right, we are live. Week 4 power rankings. Is a very, very interesting week this past week. We had some fantastic matchups this week, and let's go ahead and go and recap it. We'll go through our mishaps, our big brain plays, our Madden Manager of the Week award, and also our Urban Meyer Manager of the Week award. The Clark County Crusaders and the Bond County Coonhounds in an absolute bloodbath that came down to the Philadelphia Eagles Tampa Bay Bucks game on Monday night. Didn't think it was going to get this close. It ended up getting that close, and an absolute heartbreaker on that last drive. Absolutely crazy. Surprise, surprise, Tennessee Colonels yet again failed to get over 100 points. Mayhem going on in Tennessee at the moment, while the Dallas Dragons improved to 2-1. The Huntsville Hitmen turning the ship around against the Beecher Creatures needed that win. Now the Beecher Creatures sit at 0-3. The Shadow Troop, some were calling them frauds last week. They decided to step up and prove their point that they belong. And the Cali Pigs, their first week following the Nick Chubb injury, showing maybe some holes popping up here in California. And then another absolute wire-to-wire matchup between Bear Boobs and the St. Louis Looters, coming in with the upset. Both teams now at 2-1 following week 3. And the week 4 matchups get even crazier. But before we get into week 4 in the power rankings, we're going to go ahead and go to Rex with your mishaps and your big brain plays of the week.
Yeah. So last week I kind of went through everybody's team, and it seemed like everybody was pretty efficient last week. I mean, we had some huge scores in the league. And we had 4 guys in the league hit 140. We had 3 guys in the 120s, so there really wasn't too many manager mishaps. Yeah, there were some guys that were decent scoring on the bench, but nothing that, they should have started that person. So last week there was no manager mishaps, so as a league, good job, league. Now for the big brain baller moves. There were definitely a couple last week. One being in my matchup, we had the Huntsville Hitmen playing Raheem Mostert. Don't really know if it was a big brain baller move, but he absolutely obliterated me and pretty much didn't give me a chance because of his 41 points. Then we also had Tank Dell starting for the Dallas Dragons. He said prior to the Sunday kickoff, he said, "In Tank Dell we trust," and Tank Dell came through. Also, we had one for the Beecher Creatures, actually, myself, starting Zach Moss against the Baltimore Ravens. Wasn't looking like a great matchup. I trusted my gut, went with Zach Moss, and he ended up having 21. Was it 21 and a half? Yeah,
21 and a
half. So that was a nice bump. Didn't give me enough points to get over Michael, but hey, that's still a good showing from Zach Moss. And then finally, we have Sam Laporta for the Shadow Troop. A couple weeks ago, Parker decided to put Sam Laporta in the lineup, and I believe I can probably pull it up real quick. I want to say that Sam Laporta is tied in 1 on the year, maybe. Let me see.
He's gone for.
He is number 2. He is right behind TJ Hawkinson. Sam Laporta is
which,
number
to be
2
fair,
scoring.
Tight ends have not produced crazy yet this year.
Right.
None of them really have. Obviously, that doesn't help whenever Kelsey misses time, Andrews misses time, and 7.4 and 10.3 in weeks 1 and 2. You really wouldn't expect that to be your number one producer or number two producer after week 3. But a 20 spot, you're never going to be mad about that for sure.
Right. So, those are the big brain plays from last week. Like I said, everybody was super efficient, so it actually was kind of tough to make the choices. And we've seen it within the league that scoring was up by a ton last week.
Absolutely, especially compared to like week 1.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
9-day dip, and it made for some really, really good matchups.
Right.
Which, even though it sucks to be on the losing end of those, it makes it more fun across the entire league that multiple guys were in it till the very last day of the week, which is really good to see. You don't really want to see like 5 blowouts going on. So no, that was really, really refreshing. It like was the first week that really felt like a good fantasy week. Like it brought something alive in me that was like, oh, this is what fantasy football is all about. So, with that being said, the Madden Manager of the Week.
No. You got to go. You got to do the Urban Meyer first.
Did we decide on an Urban Meyer? I think there's a glaring one, but I think also it hurt. Okay, so it could be between two people. They could arguably share it. But I think one has a little bit more to do with the front office and the coaching, and one has to do with injury. And so I'm going to give it to the Tennessee Colonels in Chase Holmes, the Urban Meyer Manager of the Week.
We basically got the Harbaugh brothers. I mean, you got Chase and you got Michael back to back. Urban Meyer Manager of the Week. It's a pretty prestigious award in the.
Yeah, you hate to see it. And again, I didn't really want to give it to Ryan because, again, he's still trying to figure out things with Nick Chubb. And I think Rex has just frozen into oblivion. So I'm going to kind of roll with that until maybe we find him again. So
I'm back.
You're back now. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. And now for the Madden Manager of the Week, the John Madden Manager of the Week. An absolute massive turnaround from this guy from, what looked like his team was going to be in shambles to scoring over 141 points. Only a good manager can do that. And the Huntsville Hitmen figuring it out. So congratulations, Michael Holmes, worst of first Madden Manager of the Week. Now, let's go on to our power rankings. These are going to go a little bit quicker than last week because we've already dove into these rosters pretty in depth now. And things might not change super crazy from week to week here on out. We'll see. Maybe they will. But let's go ahead and start with number 10, the Tennessee Colonels, Urban Meyer Manager of the Week. It's been tough these past few weeks. I do think this team is better than how they've been performing. It's been a little unlucky, but I do believe that they are where they're at. Not completely because of luck, but because of the team that he's assembled, and he's 0-3 because of it. So that is where the Tennessee Colonels sit now. Just above him at number 9, a little bit better team. I do genuinely think that this team has seen some unfortunate luck, especially after scoring, having a pretty good week last week, but ran into a buzzsaw that was the Hitmen, and that's the Beecher Creatures. you probably what did Hurts end up going for last week? 22. So still had a really good performance out of Jalen Hurts. You would have liked to. You really couldn't have asked much more out of this team last week. 121. If you lose with that, you just got to go with your head held high. Unfortunately, your head is held high at 0-3, but there is signs of life there. There's signs of life in Beecher. I like this team. I don't think that you'll be at number 9. This is a frisky team, for sure.
Frisky. We're definitely frisky.
And knowing Rex, this is exactly where he wants to be, on the outside looking in, grit in his teeth. Come playoff time, he'll sneak in. I think that's where that's that team's potential, your team's potential right now, at least where it looks like. So,
yeah, I don't really. I mean, the next 2 weeks will really tell the story for me. I don't know if we'll end up, 0-5 or 1-4. If we're 1-4, maybe. But
2-3 looks pretty dangerous.
2-3, I just don't think I'm going to get there. I got some tough matchups coming up again.
You do have a tough matchup this week. That'll be fun. We'll get into that. But coming in at number 8, fall from grace, the Cali Pigs at number 8 right now. And this is just a results-based thing. Can this team turn it around with the team that he's got assembled? Maybe. I think it could be a lower end playoff team, but you got to find the production somewhere. James Conner, really good. Derrick Henry, yikes.
Yeah, rough last week.
Jalen Waddle going to come back this week. Najee Harris. That Warren looks incredible in Pittsburgh and maybe could have the job towards the end of the year. At least for sure in the pass catching role. I mean, who knows? There's a lot of uncertainty. I had to put him at number 8 for this week, just especially based on everybody else's just stellar performances this past week, which is why the St. Louis Looters are up next. Although he's 2-1, we've got him at number 7. This team is also very frisky. I think this is a team that, especially face value, does not strike fear into the hearts of many, but can play spoiler a lot of time, I feel like. And I think that could be Torbeck's role here going forward. And it could develop into more, but that right now, 7, 6, 5, 4, even 3. The top 2 have kind of separated themselves. But 7 through 4, there's going to be an absolute dog fight towards the end of the year, I think.
Yeah.
And moving on to number 6, turning it around. I've believed in the Huntsville Hitmen. And I think that 6 is fair. And again, I said that he could easily be 5, the 6-5-4 spot, because I believe in this team, especially if Mostert continues to get the production that he is. Obviously he's not going to pop off for 40 plus week in and week out, but they continue to get him the ball, and that offense is nuts. Absolute wagon in Miami, and it is translated in Huntsville. Josh Allen is only getting better. Devonta Smith had a bad week, but the rest of his team made up for it. Obviously, Mostert dropping 40 plus helps a lot, but things are happening in Huntsville. And he could easily have a winning record here in the next few weeks. So, moving on to number 5, Rex and I differentiated here, but we elected to go based off of results. So we've got the Bond County Coonhounds at number 5 after dropping 140 points in a loss last week, which was brutal. But only good signs. I'm 100% okay with that loss last week because we performed. You can't ask for much more. You just got to kind of tip your cap to the best team in the league right now. And, going up against almost anybody else, we win that matchup. And yeah, I mean, good signs. Things are moving up in for the Coonhounds, and we're okay being at number 5. I like being in that spot. We'll be threatening towards the end of the year. I'm confident in it. Coming in at number 4, the Dallas Dragons improved to 2-1. Still some uncertainty with what did Deshaun Watson end up doing last week? 21 points, so a pretty big improvement from after playing Pittsburgh. Obviously, going up against that Tennessee defense, had a little bit of an advantage there. So I want to keep my eye on the Dallas Dragons because I think this is a team that is doing a lot of this, right? I think it's been up, down, up, down, up, down, but pretty consistent around that 100-point mark. So you cannot underperform against this guy and expect to win.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where he's at. At least in these first 3 weeks, that's what I've seen.
Yeah, he's been consistent. He hasn't. I don't think he's had like a true high-scoring week necessarily. Has he broke 120 even?
Week 1 he had 98. Week 2 he had 104. Week 3 he had 119.
Yeah, I mean his ceiling. It doesn't seem like he's hit his ceiling yet, but he's just been consistent, and that's why he's 2-1. And he's got probably a playoff team.
I would
add too. I mean, Chase and I really need to start thinking if we don't rack up a win or two in the next coming weeks, like there could be some guys for sale.
Especially those last few playoff spots are going to be up for grabs, and there's going to be a lot of guys. There's going to be a lot of guys fighting for those. So it'll be interesting coming down the stretch. Moving up to number 3, we have the Shadow Troop. Now, Rex, I'll let you talk about the Shadow Troop, and then I'll sort of cut in here.
Yeah. So last week, let me go back here. I just switched off of. I mean, he put up 145 again. Kind of made us eat our words a little bit, and I mean, we kind of deserve to, I guess, because this team has put up back-to-back good weeks. Did lose Mike Williams, which I think is a big hole to fill, considering he dropped 21 before tearing his ACL last week. I don't think that this is a Cali Pig situation. I think he has a little more depth than Ryan, but I don't think that this team is as bad as what I thought it was at the beginning of the year. I think it has some pieces. I think he's hit on 2 rookies with Addison and Laporta. And Amari Cooper looked good with Deshaun Watson. So I think that this team is I think they could be a top 4 or 5 team for the rest of the year. I would never have believed it at the beginning of the year, but now I'm starting to.
Okay. All right. Well, so I was admittedly last week, I told you that this is the worst 2-0 team maybe ever in fantasy football. The worst 2-0 team. This is a strong point. I made it very clear that I thought that the Shadow Troops were frauds. And he came out and he scored 145. Absolutely incredible week for the Shadow Troop. They improved to 3-0. And you know, was this a response to what some were saying? Some are saying that it was, you know, that they had the bulletin board material. They came out and they're trying to shut everybody up. Well, fucking listen here, okay? I'm not backing down. I'm not smoking the Shadow Troop pack that's got everybody scared. This team is not number 3, okay? Best fucking believe that, okay? You can put this on your fucking bulletin board material. I don't give a shit. This team is not what you think it is. I'll play the heel. I'll play Stephen A. Give me anybody but the Shadow Troop. Anybody. Listen, he had a good week last week, okay? Let's calm down. We threw him a bone. You're number 3 in the power rankings. Wasn't my choice. I wouldn't have put you there. He's there this week. So get off my ass. But just know, I'm here. Last year, Parker was high and mighty on the Vikings. And what did I say? Like week 7. Frauds, first round exit, whatever, blah, 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 blah. They're not the, you know, the whatever they went, 14-3, whatever it was. Doesn't matter. They're not that good. You know who that reminds me of? The Shadow Troop. Sometimes you gotta draw a line in the sand and stand for what you believe in. And right now, that's where I'm at. I'll die on this hill. Okay? Moving on. Number 2. Took a tough loss last week. We got the Bear Boobs. This team is still very, very good. Justin Fields.
Oof.
Oof. But, hey, we got a guy down here. Where'd he go? By the name of Joe Burrow. Only put up 9 points against the Rams. Man, I guess he really just has not had a whole lot of QB luck.
They traded away Justin Herbert.
But again.
Here's my hot take. This is my hot take of the week. Sam, start Justin Fields this week. He's going to go off.
The Bears desperately need it because Chicago might be in flames after a loss this week. And so they need a Justin Fields performance. They need Justin Fields to be Justin Fields. They don't need Justin Fields to be anybody else. They need Justin Fields to be who he can be, an athletic quarterback, not do anything too special. He doesn't need to be a quarterback passer. He just needs to be Justin Fields, and you can win with it.
No.
That being said, number 1, we have the Clark County Coonhounds, the Clark County Crusaders. I mean, absolute stud week in and week out. I mean, this team performs. Week 2, he was over 100 points. Week 1, he had 140. This is his second 140 week. And we're in week 3. I mean, juggernaut of juggernauts right now, early in the year. And this, I mean, obviously this benefits the Crusaders, but if you drop a couple games at the end of the year because, you know, the league's a little bit more balanced, he can afford that because he gets off to such an incredible start. And as long as this team gets into the playoffs, dangerous. Yeah. Dangerous. You have any more on that, Rex?
This team's solid. I I think that they're the team to beat. I do think Bear Boobs could give them a run for their money right now. But man, he's got Tyreek Hill, who that Dolphins offense is something we haven't seen an offense like that
Not at all.
ever. I think that, maybe the Chiefs a few years ago with Tyreek Hill, but not like, I mean, they are just go, go, go. The pace that they play with is unreal. So yeah, I would say that Dylan has a hell of a team on his hands, and like you said, I mean, he can afford maybe late in the year to drop a game or two, because he's got off to a hot start.
Absolutely. All right. Before we get off, let's go ahead and look at the matchups this week. The Bond County Coonhounds going against the Beecher Creatures. Beecher Creatures looking for their first win.
Hungry dogs run faster.
I feel like at 1-2, still pretty hungry dog. I mean, these are two hungry dogs going against each other this week. And Clark County Crusaders looking to keep their win streak alive against the Dallas Dragons. This is going to be a good matchup right here. The Dragons are going to need a bigger week, obviously, to go against this juggernaut, but could keep your eye on this one. Tennessee Colonels could get a win this week. Against Cali unless they figure it out. Huntsville Hitmen and St. Louis Looters. I think this is these two right here got to be the marquee matchups of the week. A lot of really good matchups. This one, keep your eye on. Don't let it fall apart. These are obviously your key matchups, your marquee matchups. Huntsville Hitmen against the St. Louis Looters. The trash talk between these two is going to be electric throughout the week. The Shadow Troop going up against Bear Boobs, who is going to look for a get-right week following a tough loss against St. Louis this week. Man, I'm excited for this is going to – we're starting to get into the early weeks where things start shaping themselves and things become less of a guess as we go forward, and I'm excited for it. So
it's last week before buys too.
Yes, and then it starts to get even more interesting. Depth will show.
Yep.
So, all right, we will see you all in week 5.
See ya.